Ladies and gentlemen, these are the gentlemen of the vocal majority.
Hey everyone, it's Greg Clancy, musical director of the Vocal Majority Chorus, and many of you may have already heard that the Dallas-Fort Worth area lost a legend and the Vocal Majority lost a friend earlier this week in the passing of Ron Chapman. Ron was an icon in the DFW radio market for decades as the morning show host and visionary behind KVIL Radio. What you may not know is there's a real history between Ron and Vocal Majority. He first heard the chorus in the 70s, and he was enamored with the fact that the VM sang with such lush harmonies, as he called it. But more important to him was the idea that these men weren't paid. They simply, as he first said, were there to put harmony in a world that needed harmony. So an idea germinated with Ron, as they tended to do, for years, actually. And then he finally approached Jim Clancy and Tom Merriman with the idea of, wouldn't it be fun, as Ron would say, to put a wall of strings and orchestra behind the wall of sound of the Vocal Majority. So Ron was the executive producer and even offered to advance fund the Vocal Majority with strings. Well, Ron was able to get those songs on the air at 6:02 a.m. and because of that, while the City of Angels soundtrack was the #1 album across the country in the summer of 1998, the #1 album in the DFW market was Vocal Majority with Strings. The power of Ron Chapman at 6:02 a.m. We eventually paid Ron back and he decided, let's do another one. He had moved over to K-Love, which is a classic hit station, and he said, let's do songs from the 60s and 70s. Vocal Majority with Strings Volume 2 was born. Now, Ron wasn't able to get on the air with that particular project, but he was proud of it. And in fact, he called me one day to say, you know what? I've had a pretty good year. I'll donate the funding of that album, which was in the tens of thousands of dollars. So Ron had been an advocate for us for so long. He supported our Singing Valentine's Day programs. He allowed us to share a song on the air after 9/11 that we were compelled to record. He was a true friend and fan and ally and advocate. So flash forward to 2019, and we had our spring shows and decided to make it a Ron Chapman Gold Medal weekend. After all these years, we wanted to honor Ron while he was still with us and still healthy and vibrant. So I got to go spend a day with Ron, and we shot a video that we showed at those performances. And the audiences ate up seeing Ron again. In fact, we put out a butcher block paper about 50 feet long in the lobby and asked anyone that was impacted by Ron to write a note to him. And that butcher block paper was full of people's stories and notes to Ron. So we rolled that thing up, put it around a stick, took it out to Ron and Nancy's place, and gave it to Ron and said, Ron, we just want you to know that you are still loved and you are still valued and you are still significant and you've had a lasting impact on lives that will be lifelong. So Ron, we salute you. We love you. We appreciate a life well lived. We know your family's hurting right now and we're all suffering with the loss of you here physically. But we just want to thank you for all that you've done. And the VM in particular wants to thank you for sharing your life and so much of your life and joy with us.